Hello and welcome. Namaste. My name's John King from KarmicSeeds. I'm located downstairs at 86 Gore Street in Mergen, and I'd like to welcome you to the first of hopefully many Thursday evening group trances. As this is the first one, there's actually no one else here in person, simply because I'm doing a bit of a beta test and making sure that all the Zoom aspects work okay and recordings on track. Ideally, some of you will actually come and join me here in person. It's a lovely warm space at the moment. We're in winter, so warmth is good. It has reverse cycle air conditioning, so in summer it will also be nice and cool in here. Normally, we sit around for a bit and people tell me what they would like as part of the trance, and then we work it in. And that's either via Zoom or here in person. Trances take about 45 minutes, half an hour to 45 minutes. And hopefully everyone will have a really good time and feel much better afterwards. So this being the first, there's a couple of things I'd like to talk about and do. And I'm kind of going to, hopefully, I may change my mind, but hopefully at the moment, the intention is that I will offer this as a try before you buy. And if you do listen to the recording and get good value out of it, and I do ask that you pay me if you can. And if you can't pay me, that's okay. You know, I do want to help other people. However, an energy exchange is greatly appreciated. Before we get going, before I start talking about myself and problems of the world and all these wonderful things, as this is a group trance, and some of you may have trance before, others not, a couple of key things. So first of all, do not listen to this recording while you're driving or operating heavy machinery. Some of the trance states can become so deep that you might feel like you've lost consciousness, and obviously that's not a good thing to happen while you're in control of a moving vehicle, for example. If you're not feeling 100% mentally, so if you're quite agitated or in a really bad headspace, don't listen to this. Seek professional help, please. You know, this is for everyone, for about 90% of the population in our current different levels of anxiety or happiness or wherever we may be. If you feel that you have significant health issues, then make sure you work with your licensed medical practitioner before viewing this recording. If you're underage, please get your supervising guardian, your guardian, guides, your primary caregiver, get their permission to listen to this recording. I can't guarantee that all the language will be suitable for kids. I may accidentally slip in the odd F-bomb. I will try not to. It's going to be, you know, probably up to an hour, this recording. So if you haven't got an hour to be comfortable and safe, or you don't have to be really comfortable, but you do want to be in a safe space, then don't listen to it now, listen to it at another time. If you do have time, then let's get going. Welcome to my space. Some people will call me healthy, John, whatever, you know, I answer to most things, provided that the intention is loving. And it's all about intention, isn't it? So for this trance, and for really any meditation, any sort of complementary health work, and when I say complementary, it means it works well together with other sort of health practices. Usually the intention is one of wellness. So with the intention to do no harm, and for our highest and best will and good, let's ramble a bit. Normally, obviously, there'd be people chatting now a bit and telling me what they want. There's a couple of things that I'd like to talk about in this first trance before we actually do a trance, simply because they're big ticket items that a lot of my clients have come and talked to me about. Those of you who are my closest and dearest friends know that I personally have gone through, just like everyone else, a lot of shit over the last few years, and especially the last few months. Voldemort, COVID, whatever, you know, so many opposing views and opinions. Lots one could say. Out of that has arisen quite a lot of anger and resentment in people, envy, fear, of course, so much fear, uncertainty. You know, fear ultimately, uncertainty is what a lot of us struggle with. And again, that depends on our life journey and how we've gotten here and what's happening. And then also sadness. You know, anyone who is even slightly aware of the world and other people around them, you know, if you're not affected by the overall picture, that can look pretty grim, especially if you're unfortunate enough to be addicted to watching the news, which so many of us are, or conditioned to watching the news. So we can become sad, very sad and depressed, very, very sad and depressed if you're me, who likes to live under a rock and just, you know, go, my God, what's happening in the world? However, there is hope, there is love, there is life, and ultimately, each of us personally, you know, there's so much out there, doesn't have to be spiritual, just so many good ways to help yourself enjoy this life, you know, because ultimately we are allowed to enjoy our life. A lot of the time we're manipulated through guilt and shame to a state where we end up not enjoying our life. However, ideally, we want to enjoy life. We want to be able to see the best in things, be calm during periods of extreme stress, and all these different things. So how we process what's happening around us. Well, normally we process through all of our life experience. You know, when we're born, we are this blank slate. We may have some past life karma if that's your thing and if that is something that's relevant to you, past life information. The jury's out on that. Personally, I would say I'm 87% convinced that past lives are real, not just from people accidentally or automatically dropping into past lives here in my practice. But simply, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there. And some might say it's not a past life, it's simply a similar resonance that attunes us to picking up information from someone who was very similar to us in a different time. There is no time or space. Everything is happening in the instant moment of the ever-present now. You know, there's all these things, and when I started uni and started learning about physics and all these different things in more serious ways, there's so much that went over my head. I was having too much trouble simply coping with life and working out, you know, what was going on. But now that I've had, you know, half a century of experience behind me, some of these things, some of these ancient wisdoms that are coming through make me sit and smile and sit in gratitude at the fact that I can understand aspects of this now, that my brain has enough information and that I've, you know, worked in all these different, both scientific and more out there spiritual wah-wah areas, as well as, you know, having done many years of counseling with people. So, you know, there are things that I can understand now where it's so easy to see the John from 25 years ago who would have said, God's a four-letter word, there is nothing to any of that. This mind over matter, it's all crap and there's only the physical world. Well, you know, I've learned a few things since then. And while I still completely accept that we may only be in the physical world, everything I've experienced might just be such ridiculous coincidences and there is no higher energies or powers at all. Ultimately, my belief is mine, your belief is yours. How our lives have formed and changed and evolved, well, that's our individual present journey. So for everyone who's present here now, and when I say present here now, obviously this is going out to other people. As you watch this, as you listen to this, as you might read a transcript of it, whatever happens, however you contact this moment of now, you're actually in fact here with me in my studio as I'm recording, and I'm there with you everywhere throughout this world. So we're all here, we're all connected, they're all wonderful words and concepts. And some of those concepts will instantly bring up reactions in us. Our gut will be, oh, that's rubbish, or yeah, I so get that, so know that. So however we've been shaped, whatever traumas we've suffered throughout, and trauma is a big word because we're all traumatized in different ways. And now that I'm getting to this lovely self-reflective age, and all these pressures are placed on me where my traumas are constantly triggered. So I'm aware when I've dissociated and when I do these different things. I used to judge myself really harshly for that. When you're a trained biochemist or any sort of scientist who's in the physical hard sciences, you become very judgmental, very focused and trained over years and years and years to everything is black and white. So as I can now observe myself, I've had to learn to become much more self-loving, self-compassionate. And then becoming self-compassionate, it's easier to become compassionate for other people, because once you realize, hey, we're all going through this sort of shit, we're all struggling, or many of us are struggling. And sometimes it's nice to share that and to know that we're not alone. Then we can view life in a different way. We can label our own stories, and we can work with the fact that not everything we tell ourselves and other people is true. So we may have this story in ourselves that, we've been hard done by, and, obviously quite often we have. And if we keep holding on to that and it colors every experience that we have, then that can actually detract from our overall joy. So when we can label it and then say, well, that's what happened in the past, and I don't need to put that much weight on it. I can actually start becoming grateful for these traumas that I've suffered and draw strength and understanding. First of all, good job, John, and good job everyone who's watching this, because we're still here. We have survived to this moment of now. And that means that whatever protective mechanisms we've resorted to, and some of those are purely instinctual, physiological responses. Some of them are structured society responses and ways that we're trained as individuals to try to fit into society, and therefore through guilt and shame and other types of manipulation, we create certain responses that have now kept us alive. So we're here. And now we can focus on becoming more mindful, more loving, more in this moment. The more we can make peace with everything that's going on, and that's a big ask. And if that's actually sort of, making that, don't take away my struggle, don't take away my anger and pain and my ability to, judge all these people doing the wrong thing over there. That's not why I'm here. I don't want you to give up anything that you're not ready to give up. Everything that I say, you interpret through your critical factor and your life experiences. Those things that ring true, I invite you to allow those to be more within you. Those things that don't ring true, do your own research. One of the fundamental teachings of Buddhism is don't believe anything, try everything yourself, do your own research in life, and only take into your life that which is true for you, that works for you. As a scientist who spent over 9 years at university, you know, that's a lot of research. So I'm really good at doing research in life, and I do that across every aspect of everything that I encounter. So maybe those things that don't ring true for you, those things that might make you angry or go, what the hell is he talking about? Do a bit of research, find out. If in doubt, ask me. I'm happy to, you know, discuss things. Sometimes I'm wrong. It has been known to happen. And every time I am wrong within myself, I can celebrate that. And my ego doesn't like that. You know, I don't like it when someone says, oh, you're a whatever, and here's what you did wrong. However, I am sometimes, and that's okay. The more we can celebrate learning from our mistakes, again, the more fun this whole experience becomes. So we have anger and resentment, fear, uncertainty, sadness, all these different labels of emotions and different states. And depending on who we are and what our journey's been, different words or different thought patterns can trigger those states, or our body can revert back into that state of being in the past where the trauma is. Being in the past, whatever side we might want to put the past on. Ultimately, the past really should be behind us and the future in front of us. So everything that's ever happened to us is actually a really good thing. Doesn't matter how bad we may think, ultimately, they're all experience we've had. How we can heal our own aura, if we believe in auras, and I do, I feel people's auras and energy. So, you know, this is something that almost drove me insane over most of my life. And I'm comfortable with the fact that I can do this. However, whether it's all imagined in my head or real, there is this energy around us that we can be aware of that sometimes is damaged, and there's different ways that it can be repaired. And a significant part of that repair can happen purely through setting the intention within you to let your aura heal, to make peace with and grow from and learn from those things that have hurt us. And so I like to use the analogy of when your aura is whole and expanding, growing through all of your experiences, that any negative, so anything you've experienced before that you put the negative label, well, all of those negatives no longer have to come into our aura. We've dealt with them before in the past, we've survived, we can learn and grow. So the negatives wash over us like water off a duck's back. And we deliberately choose to let in those loving, growing, healing, encouraging words, energies, and intentions into our own deep inner calm. And that means we're more grounded, more centered, and more present. So fear and sadness and all these emotions, the more stress we carry, and we're all, you know, stressed, and our bodies are designed to be stressed for about 3 hours a day as we hunt and gather our food. And then the rest of the time, our bodies are designed to sit in a group where we're safe, where someone's on watch, so that we can relax. We can do other sort of hygiene factor type activity to live and grow in the community, to rest. And as we eat, for example, and as we go about our safe, unstressed period, our immune system is active. Our immune system doesn't want to be, and our bodies are designed not to be active when we're stressed. If we're in the middle of fighting or hunting food, we don't need to heal then. Therefore, our immune system is shut down. So when we're really stressed for long periods of time, it suppresses our immune system. All very well documented. And, you know, everyone knows if you're more relaxed, if you look after your body, if you look after the food you put in there, you get much better results out of it. And in our modern society, we, you know, put all of that aside, and the more stressed you are, the more stories of stresses you've overcome and major things you've overcome, the more kudos you get in certain, you know, high society flying type situation. Now, ultimately, we're all different. Not all of us want to be CEOs. Even a lot of the CEOs don't want to be CEOs. However, we are where we're at, and it's clinically been proven and shown that if you spend 40 minutes a day meditating, your health will improve dramatically, no matter where you're at. Now, most of us, the thought of doing that, already blows our mind. There's a good story in failure. So when we say, oh no, I couldn't do it, and we all like to sit together in groups and talk about how no, meditation is too difficult, or, these crazy hippie people are just totally off their rocker, and, everything in throwing the baby out with the bathwater, everything they say is rubbish. Because we have these stories, we have this negativity bias which protects us. It's a survival instinct. If you learn from negatives more quickly, then if you treat every stick as if it was a snake, you're more safer than if you treat every snake as if it was a stick. So ultimately, while we have this conditioning and this genetic programming to be more negative, that's actually not really good for our stress levels in our modern society. So we can learn to change that. Going into a hypnotic trance, if you haven't experienced, is generally easier than a meditative trance. The health benefits are usually a little bit different and yet similar. And depending on what intention you set and what you're actually focusing your mind on, again, lots of clinical proof that if you set your intention to become more socially interactive through certain media types, and you meditate on that while practicing certain aspects of those social skills, you will actually become better at that. So if your intention is to sit and quiet yourself and be more grounded and centered during anxiety-inducing periods, if you meditate on that, again, those abilities will improve. In setting the right intention and practicing the right types of things, our neuronal plasticity, our brains can restructure, can rewire. Now I can talk for hours on aspects of this, and over the period of all of these different trances, I probably will. I do have to actually stop myself from giving you too much sort of random weird background stuff, because so much of what I've learned over the last 15 years, since I've been working on being a hypnotherapist and working through some of my own issues, so much of it has been just these moments of, oh, they didn't teach me that at uni, or God, that's so bleeding obvious. If you had the life of the other person, if you had their history, genetics, and upbringing, you would behave exactly the same way. So when you can more and more focus on the fact that anyone who's hurt you in the past, in their reality, they couldn't help what they did. And if you can forgive them, so forgiveness means you no longer need an apology from that person without condoning the action. So it doesn't mean what they did was right. It simply means you've released that need for closure, or for an apology, for this isn't going to happen again. So when you can make peace with it, when you can think of those people who've hurt us at times as mentally ill or as socially different, there are groups of people out there who would quite happily kill me as a gay man. There are groups of people at war with each other, and it's simply through their relevant social conditioning that that's happened. So in forgiving and accepting where other people are at, I'm still allowed to protect myself. I don't want to be killed by anyone, thank you. I give no one permission to kill me unless I was in a really bad end stage way and, really wanted euthanasia. But, I would like to die in a very happy way, please. And I'm comfortable to talk about death. I'm not scared of death. However, you know, the social conditioning that we bring into different situations, when we remember that other people also have that. And so just because I'm carrying hurt and I've been taught to feel certain things as extremely hurtful, and my ego is hurt by certain things, when we put ourselves in the shoes of the other, it becomes easier to be compassionate about their actions and our own responses, and vice versa. So that more and more we can get out of the mindset of holding on to the drama, the genuine hurt. I'm not wanting to diminish anyone's hurt. Each of our pain is our own, it's our own journey, and we work with it. The more we can learn to be with it and not escape it. So most of the fear, the anxiety issues that we have arise from round after round of generations of people wanting and trying to avoid certain types of fear and anxiety. So, you know, when the parents are mollycoddling their child, and the child doesn't learn how to be with certain emotions because they're never allowed to experience them, they're never allowed to problem solve them themselves because they've been protected, then, you know, when those fears do arise, the response can be, you know, disproportionate. In observing myself and all of the things that I'm terrified of doing these recordings and of doing these group trances, even though I know they are really beneficial and I've had lots of positive feedback. And I've also had periods where no one turned up, and, you know, that can build into this irrational fear, or rational, however you want to. So anyway, in coming back to all of that and allowing our emotions, being so a lot of people associate mindfulness again with meditating and being calm and all of this. Now, for many of us, being calm is not a natural state. You know, if you're coming down off drugs or on drugs, if you're someone who had a really anxiety-inducing childhood where you never felt safe, then you're not going to want to sit quietly for any period of time. You're constantly watching the world around you, ready to act, ready to run away or protect yourself. And that's okay. That's your natural state. So in accepting ourselves as we are, and then working with that, and yes, as part of this trance, I'm going to ask you to be calm and quiet. And those of you that aren't, you know, if you want to tap your hand or tap somewhere on your body for the whole duration, or you might need to gently stroke, or, you know, anything to bring you back into your body. If you are someone who tends to dissociate, that means you leave your body, you stop feeling it, you don't know how to feel your emotions, all of these things, and allowing them to be as they are. Then you do what you can, you work with yourself, and simply spending an hour listening to me, hopefully, already will bring significant benefits into your body. So you might feel good about the fact that you've even tried. And if you don't, you might recognize that, hey, my inner critic is very strong, and that comes from, you know, the fact that I hear other people who used to criticize me when I was little as my own inner voices and my own inner insecurities. And then the more we nurture ourselves, nurture our inner child, you know, and smile at ourselves, and, you know what, I can love myself. I am a loving person. And most of us are loving people, you know, and judgmental people, and. So we can do all these different things. Soon we're going to do the trance, and for those of you who are getting impatient, in accepting that our emotions and our responses are our own. Our anger is always our own. So it's difficult sometimes to get these things under control. That's okay. And we're allowed to be angry or upset, or whatever, or these strong emotions do help us to be more prepared to survive in stressful situations. Unfortunately, really strong emotions also tend to make us feel that things are more real. So when we're having a heated argument with our partner, you know, when I'm yelling at my husband and he's yelling at me, then the stories we're telling each other feel more real. Now, the reality is once we've calmed down and go, oh, you know, I remember, I love you, and it's okay. You know, I'm having a bad day, you're having a bad day, we're stressed, you know, whatever it is, then we settle and we start to realize, well, at the core of it all, it wasn't that bad. It is a storm in a teacup, you know. What's really important in our life right now? To enjoy life, to be calm, to be as healthy as we can be, you know, and yeah, to set that intention to work with it, to focus on it, all good things to do. So now I'm going to start making ready for trance for everyone. So I invite you, wherever you are, to make yourself comfortable. You know, if you're going to go into a deep trance, make sure that you've let other people know around you you're going to do that. You may want to lock the doors, or, you know, whatever you do. I'm going to go and turn down the lights and turn on the background music. This video recording, you will not be able to hear the background music, but in the audio recording that comes with it, you will. So depending on who you are, if you like your own background music, put on a bit of Enya or Metallica or whatever floats your boat. And yeah, we'll go from there. I'll turn down the lights and yeah, let me just go and do that, shall I?
Battery for 100%. Connected to John. Connected to John's iPad.
Okay, so I've turned down the lights, all cozy. Everyone here will now be wrapped in blankets if they wanted. There's 6 recliners that I'm looking at right now, and there's easily space for 10 people in this room. I'm just going to have a quick drink of water. If you need to go to the bathroom, please go to the bathroom before listening to the trance part. Okay. Now, I'm just going to talk. I invite you to listen. Follow these instructions as you do, if you wish to. I like to give a Gyan Mudra reminder to people, or a hand signal. You may also like to grab a particular stone that you like, or you might have a bracelet that you want to put an intention of a certain, you know, relaxing, calming, anchoring moment. Whatever you do, it's nice sometimes to give yourself a signal to very deliberately relax. So I've had several dentist appointments over the last few weeks, and most certainly they would have seen me go like that and then just melt into the chair. And I'm really quite terrified of going to the dentist for a number of reasons that have built up over the many years, and easily got through it. So give yourself a reminder, and I'll reconnect you to that reminder when we're at the deepest level of our trance. Because ultimately you want your subconscious mind to go, I have a skill that allows me to relax, to be present, to deal with whatever is going on, and that will give me confidence. So if you're like me and you regularly have panic attacks, and I do, in having learned a couple of different ways to bring myself back from the brink of a panic attack, and this is one of them, and counting backwards from 10, and tapping is another one where I do finger tapping. So in doing that and knowing that, the more I practice this when I'm not panicked, the more I automatically have that skill when I am panicked, and parts of my body then listen to and come back. And, you know, when your mind is calmer, when the cortisol leaves your brain, so cortisol takes all of our energy from our forebrain where we do our critical thinking, sticks it in our hindbrain where our reflexes are, so we're ready to fight or flight or freeze. And yeah, that's not particularly helpful to solve problems. So when we come back from the brink of panic, our mind becomes clearer, our problem-solving abilities return, and we're more likely to get the best solution to whatever it is that's causing the issue. So you're relaxed now, you're ready, you're reclined, and I'm going to talk you through a general trance now. Those of us who are visual, as I describe things, you might like to pretend you see them. Now, at any time, you don't have to close your eyes. I will, you know, go through with a closed eyes aspect, but you don't have to close your eyes. If you have your eyes open, let your gaze soften. You might like to pick a certain spot to look at. You might like to invite information in rather than beaming, focusing your attention on. For those of us who are not visual, so I'm not at all visual until I'm in deep trance. If I'm describing walking through a forest or whatever, that used to frustrate me that I couldn't see that. The reality is if you just pretend you're walking through the forest with your eyes closed and you allow your other senses to engage, you'll find which of your senses is the most suggestible. And so then you might suddenly start to smell the forest, or you might imagine you can hear the crunching of the leaves as you walk through. So work with yourself. The more we do something, the better we get it. If you join me here regularly, brilliant. And every one of us who listens to this, and I'd like to thank one of my many teachers and this lady, Susan Piver from the Open Heart Project, how she always thanks everyone who attends meditations. And I would like to thank you, because taking the time for us each individually to meditate is a social service. It is a good thing for our communities to be, not to force it on everyone to do it together. In us practicing on our own, we learn more inner peace and more coping skills, and that allows us to share them with the wider community. And especially in these current times, that is a really important skill to have. So I invite you now to relax, to make yourself comfortable wherever you are. And just for a little while now, I'd like you to listen to all of the different sounds around you, both inside and outside of the room where you are. Now, some of those sounds may be quite pleasant. More and more, I'd like you to use any sound that you become aware of that is not an emergency to relax you. So any sound, even if they're irritating sounds, when we become aware of our irritation response to a sound, if we can't change it, if there is no action we can do to stop the dogs barking next door or whatever else it might be, then we can work on accepting it. And just like a noisy fridge, you know, you hear it at the start, and then all of a sudden, at some stage, it disappears. And it's not until it stops and you suddenly go, oh, wow, quiet, that you realize, hey, my subconscious can drown that out, can turn that down. So allow your senses to recalibrate. Let your subconscious warn you through sound if there is an emergency, but otherwise, any other sound, let it relax you. And as you do, if you are a bit irritated or agitated, or if you're not comfortable, you know, if you have chronic pain like myself, sometimes you need to jiggle and wriggle, do that. It's okay. Soothe yourself a little bit as and when you can. And then more and more now, I invite you to relax. For a moment, monitor your breathing. And so much breath work is associated with relaxing, and, you know, our breath is always with us. When it isn't, we're dead. So, you know, it's a really good tool. And it's a really frustrating tool when you believe that you have to breathe in a certain way for periods of time. More and more, if you simply allow your breathing to be natural now, and perhaps relax a little bit more with each out breath if you can. Next, I'd like you to relax your whole body, starting with the muscles in and around your eye. See and feel that relaxation moving down your face as you relax your cheeks, your mouth, and your jaw, and even the muscles inside your mouth. See and feel that relaxation moving over your forehead, over the top of your head and down the back of your neck as you relax your shoulders and arms, relaxing your hands and your fingers, relaxing your chest and your stomach, your hips and your legs, your feet and your toes. And as you continue to drift deeper now at a pace that's just right for you, then in a moment, I'm going to count from 10 to 1. As I do, I'd like you to imagine that you're standing at the top of a small set of stairs. Beside you or behind you is a door, and behind that door is a container. Now that container might be a safe or a filing cabinet or a Tupperware container or a fishing tackle box or whatever is right for you. Now I would like you to put all your stressful, distracting thoughts into that container. So whatever's going on in your life and in your mind, put them in that container. And then close that container at the top of the door at the stairs. And close the door at the top of the stairs. And leave your distracting thoughts there. Let the concept of that closed door and the container contain your stressful thoughts. And for the next 25 minutes or so, any time a distracting thought crosses your mind, allow that container to relax you. And your stresses are still here when you return, and if you want, you can stress about them twice as much for a few minutes, just to get in that extra bit of worry. But otherwise now, relax, let go, drift deep. At the bottom of the set of stairs is a comfortable bed, if you're into beds, or maybe it's a hammock or a giant sofa bed or futon or whatever it is. At the bottom of the set of stairs, there is that resting place with a pillow that is just perfect for you. As I count from 10 to 1, you'll move down the set of stairs and you might hear your footsteps or feel the handrail or whatever is there. And when I get to the number 1, you'll drift onto that bed, rest your head on the pillow, and then drift off into a beautiful daydream where you'll find yourself in your ideal healing space for today. And I'll talk more about that when we get there. As I count from 10 at the top of the stairs, to 9, relaxing and letting go. 8, nobody wanting anything, and nobody needing anything from you at the moment. This is your trance and relaxation. 7, letting go of all stress, tension, and negative energy. 6, as you relax those parts of you that can. 5, any sound that's not an emergency taking you deeper now. 4, as more and more you relax. 3, imagine that all your energy channels could become so relaxed now. That those different stresses and tensions just leave. 2, becoming more balanced in every aspect of ourselves. And 1, drifting onto that bed, resting your head on the pillow, and drifting off now into the perfect healing space for you. So for some of us, that may be simply a shapeless, formless void where we are absolutely safe and secure. Here, nothing can harm. Here, if you have allergies, you have none. Some of us might like to go to the beach or to a beautiful clearing in a forest with a crystal clear stream, birds singing, gentle breezes rustling through the leaves and trees. Others might be in a crystal palace, or some of us just simply have our own personal safe space. So you go where you are comfortable and at peace, where you can heal. And as you allow your mind to go where it needs to, and if it's really active, allow that. Don't struggle against it. If there's all sorts of thoughts, and if you're doing the shopping in your head as well, that's okay. Let them drift through, and then more and more as you can, come back to the sound of my voice and my instructions. Let yourself relax as much as you can. And as and when things come into focus, they do. And if they don't, that's okay. Your healing space may likely evolve with time. And as you allow yourself to connect to your highest and best future self, that you wish to be, that you can be, happy and healthy, strong and confident, calm and relaxed. How we become that? Well, we'll do that in a way and at a pace that's right for us, each of us individually. So as you relax now and drift deep, imagine for a moment that what I describe next is possible in your healing space. Now, some of us who work with energy, with other people's energies and our own, and the universal healing energy, or Reiki as it's called, are aware of these different abilities that we have. And again, to each their own. You do not have to believe it. And in your universe, it may not be true. However, imagine that in your healing space for a while, you could allow yourself now to almost step out of yourself a little bit, to move aside so that your mind and your body can work on different levels. Your body, with its incredible pre-programmed intelligence, heals best when our mind is in a calm, healthy state. So when we have distractions and all these different other things, how our energy lattice interacts with our physical cells and our microbiome can be interesting. The concepts of chakras are wonderful and have been around for over 6,000 years. These energy centers or vibrational centers, or however you want to call them. And again, even if it's simply the concepts of these, if we can allow our energies to align, those blockages that are within us, if we can accept them, embrace them lovingly, let some healing energy flow through them, then they can relax. So imagine that in your healing space, you set the intention to give yourself permission to allow this energy to flow through you and not from you for a while. And you don't have to. If you would like to, you might become aware of this healing energy. And I'll connect my energy to anyone present who would like it. And again, that happens automatically. I do that and let it flow through me. I am but a conduit. So you might start to become aware of this beautiful, soothing, healing, comforting energy flowing in through the crown of your head, as if a gentle shaft of sunlight was touching your forehead. And you could give yourself permission in these moments to allow that to just gently, like a gentle stream of water, to lovingly flow through our crown, through our skull. Imagine all of these busy little neurons, these little wonderful brain cells firing. And they're more and more as they relax and our brain relaxes and slows down to our own current best level. Then more and more our third eye, our intuition can relax. We could let that energy drift from behind our eyes gently to our throats and allow ourselves to feel into our throat chakra for a while. This space in our throat where we voice into creation the reality we wish to experience. For so many of us, this chakra is blocked. We're not expressing our own truths. We're holding back too often. We resent the fact that we have to say things that others don't understand. All these different things. So allow yourself to observe any tension or tightness in your throat. And while you're here, also let your attention drift out onto your shoulders. Are you carrying burdens? Are your shoulders hunched up tight? Are you stressed? Now in this space, imagine that for the next little while, you simply unburden. You let go of anything that you've been carrying for a while, just so your muscles can relax and recharge and your energies can flow where they're needed. And you might feel your throat gently relaxing a bit. There's any constriction or tightness there now gently eases and softens. As you do, you more deeply relax. You might let that loving, healing energy slowly move into your chest now. And as you do, imagine that with each in-breath, you're drawing in the soothing, healing, relaxing energy. And with each out-breath, you gently let go. And as you do, any of those negative energies that are within you can just gently leave with the out-breath. Let yourself become aware of your heart and the heart chakra, this amazing energy space. Imagine that for a while you allow your heart to resonate with all of the love of the universe. Dependent on where you're at. So if you're carrying or have been carrying a lot of sadness and hurt, if you feel your heart's been broken, if you're carrying old wounds in this area, you might like to put your hand on your heart. Our bodies are designed to soothe with healing touch and loving touch. So if we touch ourselves with a loving intention, our body relaxes and we start to heal more deeply. So as we allow ourselves to let our hearts open, and so often we're afraid of that because we're afraid of being hurt again and again. The more we allow ourselves to relax, put our hands on our heart, it's amazing how much more love we can experience when we let go of the fear of being hurt. We've survived the hurt. We can put in place strategies and boundaries to prevent such hurt, to reduce its effect. And in simply knowing that we've survived it before and we can grow, then it can give us more confidence to allow ourselves to open our heart loving and to be and to enjoy this amazing journey of life. As you allow that energy then to flow into your abdomen, this amazing space we have here. In our gut, our microbiome, this collection of trillions of little microbes, all of which are ours. These microbes, our healthy gut bacteria, fungi, all sorts of amazing little wonders. These little microbes, they're nothing to be scared of. They digest our food, help to liberate the sunlight. They create a lot of the neurotransmitters and extract a lot of the neurotransmitters from our food that allows us to feel our different emotions. So we need to be grateful and look after these amazing little beings. So the more we listen to our gut, the more we bring good, supportive food into our system that's right for us. So we need to trial and error, work out what works best for us. Then we support these amazing little beings and we have more energy. Our inner fire becomes bright. Our body becomes healthy. We think more clearly. And the other amazing, wonderful thing that our gut does is it trains our immune system. So as our immune cells mature, they all go into our gut to work out and find out what is us and what is foreign. So the more we look after our gut health, the better. So perhaps in allowing ourselves to relax, in allowing this space to relax, again, we become healthy and happy. As we drift deeper down, going through the sacral chakra, here where we allow ourselves to take pleasure in our physical being and creating. So it's not all about reproduction and sex. It's about giving ourselves permission to enjoy our physical form and all of the delights that it can bring without guilt or shame. Guilt and shame are interesting emotions that have evolved socially to basically make sure we all conform to what our tribe wants. And it's a survival type instinct. So if we feel guilt or shame, it's to prevent us from being kicked out of the tribe. But that comes from a long distant past. And the way we currently view guilt and shame and have it used so often to manipulate our emotions, it becomes unhealthy and it triggers fear and anxiety. So for most of us, most of what we do, provided it is between consenting adults or activities that are healthy for all involved, then no guilt or shame should be involved. So we can release ourselves logically from any guilt or shame that we carry that is, in fact, unwarranted. And a lot of it is. So as we let go of guilt and shame and allow ourselves to genuinely love ourselves, forgive ourselves for past indiscretions, and then support ourselves as we go into our brightest and best possible future. And again, our life becomes more exciting and interesting and bearable and enjoyable and just amazingly wonderful. Finally, as this energy moves into our root chakra, as we ground into our current reality. Our root chakra is governed by our adrenal glands, which sit on top of our kidneys, our flight or fight response. And so much of what we do nowadays is to try and escape our current reality. And yet, when we can accept our current reality, to be really present in the here and now, then we can also achieve the best outcomes for creating what comes next. So if you observe yourself so often either daydreaming of a better future, a better this or that, not happy in the current, or living in the past, as we allow ourselves to remember to become present, to be aware of our emotions in this moment of here and now, and to allow those emotions, and then to observe the little and big things that are happening both inside ourselves and outside of ourselves. Then again, more peace, more presence, more ability to be in control of this moment, and then to create better potential futures. And to be able to comfortably live with those thoughts from the past that may have previously hurt us or been unacceptable. So as we now allow our energies to flow, I'm going to count again from 10 to 1, and I invite you to let yourself drift as deep as you would like into that space. And as you do with each count, As you drift deeper, you might become more relaxed, more at peace. Your energies might open and balance. You simply allow a stronger connection with that confident, strong, happy, healthy you of the future. And let your subconscious make those adjustments that are right for you in order for you to become that you at your own pace. As I count from 10 to 9, going twice as deep. 8, twice as relaxed. 7, the beautiful sights, sounds, and sensations becoming twice as real around you. 6, as you go twice as deep again. 5, and 4, drifting deeper down. 3, more and more relaxed. 2, and 1. And as you now rest in this state for a while, I'd like you to give yourself that reminder signal. So either putting your index finger and thumb together, or let your subconscious mind become aware of the reminder stone or bracelet or whatever you're holding, to remind you to give yourself permission to relax, to let go in these moments, and to more and more at every level be present, be calm, and accepting. And as you rest in that state, imagine that anytime you need to or want to, when it is safe to do so, you'll give yourself that reminder signal. And as you do, you'll relax. The cells in your body will remember this state, and they'll allow you to relax to that level that is right and safe for you in that moment. And for a moment now, I invite you to give yourself permission to recharge your deepest energy level. Any tension in your body that's come from prolonged discomfort. So if you've had chronic pain or tension in your body, let your body now have permission to relax, to become more comfortable for a while. And let that comfort spread through you more and more. Let your subconscious mind work with your body so that the stories of exhaustion, the stories of hurt become small, become less, become more distant. So rather than remembering how exhausted you are, now more and more allow the cells of your body to remember how exciting life is and how you can bring in more energy, bring in more air and oxygen. And for those of us that are lucky, who can easily bring more food and nourishment into our body, then we can do that. And by encouraging ourselves, our energy levels rise. So more and more automatically, simply find yourself encouraging yourself, helping yourself, and allowing those amazing energies around us that do assist us at times to help also, as and when the universe can permit. And resting in gratitude at this amazing journey of life, we can let a wonderful glow of soothing inner peace and calm spread through us and radiate to those around us. And as you rest for one last moment of infinity in this space, that is exactly as long as you need it to be. Just like a dream, a lifetime can pass in a blink of an eye. So recharge and rest and deeply relax. And now as I gently bring you back and you allow those beneficial changes that are for your highest and best will and good that you desire to become a permanent part of your subconscious mind. And as you now move towards your brightest and best possible future, as you move towards that strong, confident, happy and healthy, calm and relaxed view of the future at your pace. And in a moment, as I count from 1 to 5, you gently return, bringing a feeling of wellness and calm back with you. As I count from 1, this deeply relaxed state, which is always within you, to 2, gently starting to return, a feeling of wellness and calm returning with 3, slowly coming closer now, maybe starting to wriggle your fingers and toes a little bit. 4, almost back, bit of gentle stretch. And 5, taking your time and opening your eyes when you're ready. I'm just going to turn the lights back up. And I thank you for your attention. Now, I hope you enjoyed this. If you were here in person, then you would be very welcome, and I would invite you to have a cup of tea or coffee if you need before you jump behind the wheels of a car. If you're at home, make sure you don't jump behind the wheels of a car straight away if you've gone into a deep trance or operate that heavy machinery. Come back into your body. You know? Slap yourself in the face a bit. Don't hurt yourself, please. Yeah, enjoy this amazing journey of life. Again, I'm John from KarmicSeeds. If you did enjoy this, please, if you can, toss a coin to your Witcher, that will be amazing, or to your Healthy. And if you can't, that's also okay. However, if you can, even better. You can send me, just contact me. You can send money to my mobile phone number if you have that option through Pay Anyone in your mobile banking. 0417684818 is my mobile. My PayPal account is karmic.seeds@skymesh.com.au, or send me a message. I'm sure you can always get abundance to me somehow. Sharing is caring. If you enjoyed this, please do share it with your friends in your newsfeed, whatever. Please send me feedback on how you went, and hopefully I will see you either in person or by Zoom next Thursday. So Thursday trances at the moment are at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. So I look forward to seeing you then. Namaste, and have a brilliant weekend and Friday, and all the best. Cheers.